We're going to cross to Kinshasa, the capital, and Peter Orr, head of mission for the French aid agency Doctors Without Border in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Thank you for speaking with us here on France 24. What are your teams in Eastern Congo telling you about the situation?
Well, just as a reminder, the situation in Goma and to the west of Goma was already difficult before last week, where there are hundreds of thousands of displaced people in displaced persons camps west of Goma. And so our activities were really in Goma were really focused towards these camps. But as of last Wednesday, our teams were forced to leave the camps, as were many of the inhabitants of those displaced camps. In effect, the displaced people had to displace themselves once again towards the city of Goma because of the fighting that was happening between that side of Goma and Sake ever since the rebels took control of Sake. Our teams had to switch focus, and so now we're concentrating on war wounded. We set up an activity at Keshero Hospital to receive war wounded. We have between 60 and 70 beds now. We're trying to support the efforts of the ICRC, who are working in Dosho Hospital nearby, but they're overwhelmed by the number of victims.
Overwhelmed by the number of victims, and I presume that it's not easy working in a city that's now plagued by power outages.
There's a power outage as well, as you say, and since early last week, the food supplies into the city have been made difficult because of the fighting south of Sake. So all the areas from which food supplies were arriving have become more difficult. So the cost of living has increased. There's a lack of electricity. As you were saying, there is still fighting going on in the city. So it's quite chaotic, quite uncertain situation for the people living there, including our Congolese colleagues.
Peter, I presume that at some point there will be an exodus of those displaced who number an estimated 1 million inside the city of Goma right now. Where will they go?
That's a very good question. It's not at all clear. Many of them refuse to return to their homes in the various territories outside of Goma. And so, as I said, their first reaction with the fighting between the west of Goma and Sake was to come closer to the city. Now that the city itself is under fire, it's not clear. In fact, we've lost track, to be honest, of where people are going exactly. We hear stories of people being in schools and churches, but otherwise, as is often the case, people are taken in by families, in homes of private citizens. But it's really uncertain where they could go. Outside of Goma, there's fighting as well, and so there really is no good solution for them.
With that fighting reported at the airport, how are you getting supplies in?
Well, for the moment, we're not. We had supplies pre-positioned. Of course, we have ongoing activities in Goma, so we have supplies in Goma in different areas, but some of those warehouses have been looted. And so we ourselves now are going to quickly face a problem of supplies for our activities in Goma as well as elsewhere in North Kivu.
Peter, one final question for you. Eastern Congo, the city of Goma, has been through this before. It was overtaken briefly by the M23 back in 2012. Speaking to those who've been there a long time, is this the worst Goma's seen?
The people in North Kivu have suffered a series of wars for 30 years. So it's hard to distinguish exactly which time is the worst. And the terrible thing is, despite having a lot of experience of war and displacement, nobody gets used to it.
Peter Orr of Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, many thanks for speaking with us from Kinshasa.
Thank you.